Before we bootstrap our project, we'll need to have some dependencies met. In our console, you can type in ruby-v. We need to make sure that we have the very latest version of Ruby. Anything below 2.0 is not actually advised. Those are particularly old for the exercise, so it's best if you stay up to date. If you use something like RBM, for example, you can type in rbm install and the version you want. Type in 2.1.2 and this should install the latest version of Ruby. Once you do that, you can type in rbm versions and you can see that I already have a bunch of different ones. This is the one that I'm already using by typing in rbm global 212. This will make sure that the default Ruby you'll be using is this one. Once you do that, you'll be able to type in gem install, Rails, and bundler. These are the main dependencies that we'll need before bootstrapping our Rails project. Once you do that, and if you're using RBM specifically, you can type rbm rehash to make the Rails and bundle commands available. Without that, you won't be able to type in Rails-v. So we have the very latest version of Rails at the time of the recording. It is 4.1.1. Bundle is also the very latest. It is 1.6.2. Now that we have these two commands, we can run them. Type in Rails new tots-pols. This is the name for our application. So if I press enter, a bunch of files will be created and the bundle command will install at the very bottom, as you can see. Let's just wait a while until all of the dependencies are installed. At the end of it all, and if you're using rbm, you will most likely see something like this. The Spring command is not available. That's why we'll need to add in the rbm rehash command again, and only then we'll be able to type in that command. So bundle exec spring bin stub --all. This command allows us to have the Rails command in our folder as a symbolic link, and many different ones as well. As you can see, we need to be inside the actual project and then run the command. There you go. We have our new rake command and Rails command. From here on, you can type in bin/Rails and this will pop up our Rails version. This is just so if you have multiple versions of Rails installed, you just need to type in the correct one. This is already taken care of for you, so you'll just need to use that command. The same goes for bin/rake. You can do that and it will run a command. In this case, we don't have any default command, but we can do something like bin/rake -big T to list all of our tasks. Okay, now this is taken care of, we can go ahead to the gem file and add in some custom dependencies of our own. You can see all of this commented out by the Rails gem. I'm going to run a simple tweak on Vim in order to remove all of these comments. So I'm going to use the G command here, and I want to make sure that everything that begins with a $sign is removed. So you can see here that we have all of these different comments. There you go. This is all of the search, so I can type in that command, pass nothing at all as it will take the previous search parameter, and use the normal command to delete those lines. There you go, much cleaner. I'm going to line 16 and delete all of this. Now these are the gems that we are using already, but I want to add some custom ones. The first one would be to use Haml. If you're not used to Haml, then I advise you to check it out. It really is a great tool to generate HTML with Ruby. I'll post a link in the show notes to let you know about this tool so you can explore it furthermore. After that, I want to make sure that I use mini-test Rails as well. And I'm going to take the chance and use the Bootstrap Sass gem. This is going to help us organize our page content. Instead of going for a personal solution, we're just going to rely on the actually pretty good solution that is Bootstrap. Let's just make sure that this mini-test Rails gem is inside the test group. So group test, pass in the block, and enclose that gem inside. I'm also going to include the Factory Girl Rails gem, which allows us to use Factory Girl alongside Rails. Last but not least, I'm going to use the Pry Rails gem. This will allow us to use Pry when launching the console and also establishing debug points in the midst of our code. This can prove really useful when trying to debug something that we don't understand why it is happening. Let's type in the bundle command once again and see how many different gems are being installed fresh. Okay, there you go. All of the lines in green are new gems. So we have Pry, Minitest Rails, Factory Girl, Bootstrap, and everything. Okay, so now that's set up, there's only one more thing that I want to do before actually running the application. I want to go to the config application.rb file. This will allow me to use a preferred syntax of Sass over SCSS. So I'm going to use the config.sass.preferred syntax. This variable will allow me to use Sass over SCSS. This is much cleaner in my opinion. It doesn't have all of those brackets and something like that. It really sticks close to the Haml syntax in that regard. You will see once we generate some scaffolding for the polls and the questions. Okay, I think it's time that we set up an actual server instance. So if we type in Rails S, or better yet, bin Rails S, this is the Rails symbolic link for us to use. So we'll do that, and it will boot a new server. If you go to your browser, I'm using Firefox in my case, and type in localhost 3000, our application will boot up. That's great. You can check the application's environment, and there you go. We have 2.1.2 as the Ruby version, Rails as being 4.1.1, and we also have a JavaScript runtime of Node.js. If you don't have it, Rails will complain and it will tell you what to do. Don't worry about that just yet. Okay, so this is our very basic Bootstrap, as we'll move along in the next lesson to start defining our business model. It's going to be very important that we know what entities we are messing with. I'll see you soon.